First post, 12th of January 2024. Matsu's anti-Indian position is being driven by Islamist radicalism, but the Maldives will pay a heavy price for this narrow-minded approach. China has supported the Maldives and played the Islamic jihadist card as part of her full-scale campaign against India, which was brought to an end in China by eradicating Islam as a faith. Who knew the Prime Minister's beautiful but innocent beach photos from Lakshadweep, intended to boost domestic tourism, would ignite a fiery diplomatic dispute between India and the Maldives? The Maldives' polity shifting to extreme Islamism, the relationship between domestic politics and foreign policy, the influence of social media on international relations, and the competition between China and India for power in the strategically important country were some of the complex factors that led to it. Narendra Modi is marketing Lakshadweep as a new travel destination. A state has the right to promote tourism to increase investment, strengthen the economy, and create jobs. While praising the island's natural beauty, Modi did not name any other nation, despite some Indians taking his remarks as a message to the Maldives. Therefore, it is even more bizarre that three Maldivian ministers, no less from President Mohamed Matsu's administration, would choose to target not only the leader of a friendly state, calling him a terrorist, clown, and a puppet of Israel, but also to make overtly racist and hateful remarks against Indians, who have been the most frequent visitors and a significant source of income for the tiny archipelago, which depends heavily on tourism. Two ministers were placed on suspension for saying contentious things. While the president refrained from speaking during a visit to China, the Maldivian government distanced itself from the remarks. Let us first look at the India-Maldives relationship before delving into the reasons behind the Matsu regime's reaction. Since 2020, Indian tourists have accounted for the largest share of Maldives' international visitors for 4 years. Over 2 lakh Indian visitors to the Maldives last year made up more than 11% of all arrivals. This is marginally more than what Russia and China, in third place, have to offer. The Maldives' GDP is derived 80% indirectly and 20% directly from tourism. The intense disagreement over Lakshadweep, the racist stereotypes of Indians spread by Maldivian ministers and various social media personalities, referring to them as open defecators, smelly, unclean people, and disparaging India's tourism potential in comparison to the Maldives, as well as insults directed towards the Prime Minister have caused such a virulent backlash in India that it has happened quickly and catastrophically. Maldives envoy called to South Block, Indian High Commissioner meets with Maldivian authorities to voice concerns on 3 deputy ministers' posts on social media. The more significant impact was felt in public, where New Delhi used coercive diplomacy through unconventional channels while maintaining some degree of plausible deniability. One online travel company has banned all airline reservations to the Maldives on its website in solidarity with the nation in response to screenshots after screenshots of vacationers cancelling their reservations on social media, and it is urging other platforms to do the same. The Maldives is no longer included in many travel firms' vacation packages. Travelers are advised to visit the unspoiled archipelago of Lakshadweep, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, or the Andaman Islands. According to CNBC, the hashtags #BoycottMaldives and #ExploreIndian Islands, endorsed by cricket legends and Bollywood stars on social media, resulted in a 40% decrease in reservations in just 2 days. The Maldives received $380 million in tourism from India last year. According to CNN, the Confederation of All India Traders said it would not conduct business with the Maldives until it receives an apology or corrective action. A quarrel arose over vacation during the busiest time of year. While in Beijing, President Matsu requested that China welcome more tourists. But perhaps it's too late to salvage the season. In an article, The Hindu notes that using statistics from 2022 as an example, the number of beds occupied over a month in resorts and hotels peaked in the January to March period. March and April saw a high quantity of tourist boats in operation. Should the 2022 season's patterns serve as a guide, a boycott call during the 2024 holiday season might cause the Maldives to suffer significant financial losses. It makes sense that Maldivian tour businesses are reacting with alarm. In a letter to Easy My Trip, the online travel platform that has banned all airline bookings to the Maldives, the Maldivian Association of Travel Agencies and Tour Operators, Matado, a forum for travel agencies, asked it to re-evaluate the decision. According to Business Standard, Matado responded to disparaging remarks by Maldivian ministers, claiming that 44,000 Maldivians are employed by the tourist industry, accounting for more than two-thirds of the Maldives' GDP. The drive will suffer as a result of the scandal. With ethnic, linguistic, cultural, religious, military, strategic, and economic ties that have endured for centuries, during the time the Maldives was a part of India, the Maldives and India have a multifaceted and civilizational bond. A single facet of their bilateral relationship is tourism. India is the Maldives' first choice for crisis management, security, healthcare, and education. Obtain medical attention. Concerned Maldivians are accusing Mutsu's ministers of inciting a crisis and sabotaging relations with India, which they have relied on for specialized and vital medical care since the matter broke. According to data released by the Indian government in 2022, Maldivians were among the top 3 foreign nations who travel to India for medical purposes. According to a poll, Maldivian medical tourists seeking crucial treatment prefer India because of its accessibility, familiarity, and reasonable cost. India provides a referral system for medical treatments received abroad and trains Maldivian medical professionals. India and the Maldives have a long history of collaboration in several fields, including infrastructure, healthcare, education, and security. On 34 islands, they collaborate on bilateral projects that include ports, cricket stadiums, and water and sanitation systems. India has shown to be the Maldives' most reliable ally in times of need. They dispatched a medical relief team amid the pandemic, 100,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, 1,220 tons of fresh water amid a drinking water crisis, and other necessary supplies. India also made the most significant single donation of any country, $250 million, to the Maldives to aid in the fight against the pandemic's economic damage. For this fiscal year, the Maldives will receive a 400 crore grant from India, or 1.5% of the island nation's total budget. India provides the Maldives with regular financial support, including a $100 million tranche in 2022 to help with economic issues. The irony of the India Out campaign by the ruling Progressive Party of the Maldives lies in the fact that the island nation's economy depends heavily on Indian laborers, many of whom work in tourism and hospitality. The Maldives and India have a less-than-perfect humanitarian partnership. Maldives is highly dependent on India for both security and daily needs. India's marine security depends on its strategic location, especially in protecting commercial shipping lanes that China is currently endangering. Given China's increasing encroachment and full-scale assault against the Indian subcontinent, New Delhi is frantic to maintain the Indian Ocean archipelago's position as a crucial component of India's defense strategy and as part of its sphere of influence. Why does the Mutsu regime emphasize the long-standing symbiotic relationship? It's more severe than a social media altercation. Maldives' overreaction to Modi's tourism promotion of Lakshadweep was caused by ultranationalist rhetoric that was stoked by anti-Indian feelings. The same strategies that sparked a backlash in India now seem to be being employed in the Maldives, where there is unrestrained hostility beneath the turquoise waters. Despite the close ties, India is not sufficiently aware of the degree to which an Islamist shift in the Maldives' politics is stoking anti-Indian sentiment there. One of the main consequences of the underground jihadism that has the Maldives in its death grip is the growing political dominance of the religious right, which created a negative image of India and used it as a hegemonic prop to land punches and seize power. The thinly veiled Hindu hatred at the heart of the Maldives' anti-India animosity must be held accountable for the rabid radicalization that has seen the tiny Maldives earn the dubious distinction of sending the highest per capita number of ISIS fighters to Syria and Iraq, an estimated 250 men and women from a country of only 500,000. This hatred is what gave rise to Matsu. Hindu India is not merely a hegemonic force but also an existential threat that has to be avoided by the Maldives, a country that is becoming more and more Islamist and whose youth have become radicalized. What Matsu is doing from this angle is evident. According to a recent TU assessment, Matsu's PPM and coalition partner PNC came to power through a controversial India Out campaign and started to shift the Maldives' foreign policy toward China. Matsu swiftly cancelled a cooperative hydrographic surveys deal with India after taking office in November 2023. On his first official trip, he went to Turkey rather than India. He also visited China and requested India withdraw its military soldiers stationed on the Maldivian coast. To help with evacuations and medical support in the Maldives, 77 Indian soldiers are piloting 2 helicopters and aircraft that India has donated. This has been described as a threat to sovereignty by the Matsu dictatorship. Matsu understands that Indian troops do not threaten the country's sovereignty, but manage to touch a nationalist nerve in the nation for political and electoral dividends, according to an Al Jazeera article quoting members of the Maldivian opposition. Although Matsu's anti-Indian position appears to be based on hardline Islamism, it is anti-Hindu animosity disguised as ultra-nationalism. Islam is seen as essential to Maldivian independence, culture, and legacy, and the President of the Maldives has pledged to give it top priority in government. Islam is utilized to foment division and foster an attitude of us versus them. This same mentality has made it illegal to celebrate Christmas on the islands, labeled a yoga program sponsored by India as un-Islamic, and encouraged young ministers in his cabinet to make hurtful remarks about Indians without any justification. Matsu rode religious fanaticism to the top and was unable to dismount. He faces pressure from radical organizations to adopt anti-Indian positions, endangering the Maldives' diplomatic ties with India.